On Canvas, you have a student isomers flow chart that you may use to take notes, as we're going to be talking about isomers throughout this semester. So we're going to keep adding onto this flow chart. This is just one part of the flow chart so as not to overwhelm you right away. Isomers are compounds that have the same molecular formula. Based on their rearrangement of atoms or bonding patterns in space, there are different classifications of isomers. We are going to be looking at two broad categories over this semester: constitutional isomers and stereoisomers. Looking at constitutional isomers first. Constitutional isomers have different bonding order of the atoms in that molecular formula, which means there is a change in at least one carbon classification within that compound. And when we change carbon classification or rearrangement of bonding order, the name of the compound also changes. And that is one way you can check that you've made an appropriate constitutional isomer, is name the structure you drew. We'll be looking at three of the hydrocarbons: alkanes, alkenes, and aromatics. Alkynes can be treated very similar as alkenes, so the rules in which we'll talk about with alkenes will also be for our alkynes. Starting with the alkanes first. For alkanes, their constitutional isomers are created by increasing the alkyl branching, which means moving alkyl or carbon groups around the parent chain. Looking at the constitutional isomers of butane, which is the first hydrocarbon that we can make a constitutional isomer with. The molecular formula for butane is C4H10. When wanting to make your isomers, you always want to start with the longest parent chain possible from the molecular formula given to you, which means we want to have all four bonded carbons together. And then we will put in our hydrogens. When looking at our drawn structure, to determine if we are going to make an isomer, we need to remove a terminal carbon so that it can go and become an alkyl branch. So if I remove this CH3, our new parent chain becomes 3 carbons long. That alkyl group that we are removing, that methyl group, needs to bond to an internal carbon, because if we go with an terminal carbon, we just reform butane. So we need to put it into a branching position. For here, it would be carbon 2. So with our butane, if I take off that terminal carbon, if I was just to move it to the other end, that just reforms that butane, which is why we need to go interior. Now, when we are making constitutional isomers of our alkanes, we are creating substituents. In order to put the methyl group onto carbon 2, we have to substitute out that hydrogen on carbon 2. And it's going to fill in that missing bond from where we had moved this methyl group. That methyl group now has an available bonding site on carbon 2. So carbon 2 originally was di-substituted and now became tri-substituted. This changes physical and chemical properties, as we have talked about. That is another way we know that we have created a constitutional isomer. In our drawing, I find it easier to put the carbons in the structure first, and then we'll go back and add the hydrogens. Because they are isomers, we cannot lose any carbons or hydrogens because we need to maintain the same molecular formula. Once I have bonded all of my carbons, then I can go and fill in our missing hydrogens, and there are still 10 of them. That parent chain became propane, which is different than the butane. And then our substituent is a methyl group on carbon 2. Let's look at another hydrocarbon to see how many constitutional isomers we can form. I do suggest that you attempt this on your own by pausing the video and then checking your work with what I do here. Pentane is C5H12 for that molecular formula. Based off the rules we have discussed, we want to have the longest carbon chain possible to become our first isomer. So here we have pentane. Now, just like we have done before, we want to find a terminal carbon that we can remove to allow it to become an alkyl group that will then be substituted elsewhere. This means that the parent chain now becomes 4 carbons. That alkyl group needs to go interior so that it does not just reform pentane, but actually becomes an alkyl branch. So when I remove that 5th carbon, I have my 4 carbon base parent chain now. So I need to bond to one of the 2 interior carbons. It does not matter which interior carbon I bond to, because if I substitute out this hydrogen, we get carbon 1, carbon 2. So carbon 2 would have that methyl group. If I had bonded on the other carbon, interior carbon, because of numbering rules, we would just number from the other direction. So this would have been carbon 1, 2. So either carbons puts that alkyl branch onto carbon 2. So it does not actually matter where it goes, as long as it's interior. If you have a longer parent chain, you may have different numbering patterns. So it's really important for you to check. All 5 carbons are accounted for, so we're going to go ahead and put in our hydrogens. And notice that the carbon that has the alkyl branch, or the substituent, also changed its classification, going from disubstituted to trisubstituted. That parent chain is now 4, so it's butane. It's got a methyl group on carbon 2. So 2-methyl butane. You may see the common name for this as isopentane. Iso means that there is a alkyl branch on carbon number 2. I'm not going to test you on that, but it's just FYI because you may see the term iso used at some point. What we need to do is determine if we can move another carbon elsewhere. We've already decided that the alkyl branch we already made cannot move to another internal carbon because it's going to be the same 2-methyl butane. However, we do have another terminal carbon furthest from that alkyl branch we've already made. So if I take, here's my butane, if I take that terminal carbon furthest away from my branch, I now go down to a 3-carbon parent chain. So if I go down to a 3-carbon parent chain, I still have that alkyl branch on carbon 2. So this new substituent needs to also go interior. Carbon 2 still has a hydrogen that can be substituted with that alkyl branch. allowing for that propane parent chain that has two alkyl substituents. We still have our 5 carbons. Go through and put our hydrogens in. The carbon that was originally di-substituted, then became tri-substituted, is now quaternary substituted. So it kept changing its classification, which changes its chemical and physical properties, and the name. So that parent chain is 3, so that's our propane. And we still have the methyl groups on there. And because there's 2 methyl groups, they're both on carbon 2, we get 2,2 dimethyl propane.